What's going on? What's happening? Is that what's called a sun? Ooh, I'm gonna have a scrunched face now. Should I put my glasses on? No, don't put your glasses on, Mag. Okay, how you doing, guys? Welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. Like my top this morning. A tickly feet. A tickly feet. No. Hey guys, if you ever get chance, go to one of those guys who do an Indian foot massage with that. It looks like I don't know if you remember when you older guys like me, or you younger guys like me will remember when you wanted your socks fixing. Can you imagine? There were a day once, guys, you young'uns, there was a day once when we used to fix our socks instead of throwing them away and buying new ones. And we had a wooden instrument which looked like a mushroom, and you'd stick it into the sock and then pull the sock right tight and then stitch it. Anyway, if you imagine one of them mushrooms really small, you can go to these wonderful Indian feet masseurs, and they stimulate your feet. You know, so much down in your feet is connected to all your body that you heal so fast in so many different ways, and it's really painful. I mean, it's really painful, but like I said, with anything, whenever something's stimulated in your body and it feels painful, it's because it's a block and it needs to be healed and cleared. So you may go for a foot Indian massage, whatever, I can't remember what they're called, you know what I mean, and then you're screaming in so much pain, and then you go the following day and then it's not so much, and then the following day it's not so much, so you go a few times and then all the pains are gone because it's released. It's beautiful. Release. Moldavite does the same thing. When you wear it, you're in a lot of pain, and then after that the pain disappears because you keep wearing it, and then it's gone. But you know, if you said to the masseur when he's doing a massage, stop, it hurts too much, well, he'd say, well, it's gonna hurt because we need to release the block. Just common sense, really. But anything that hurts, we automatically think, oh, there's something wrong. It's the devil, it's demonic, it's not good for me. Beautiful day, guys. It is a really beautiful day here today. A little bit windy. Not too much, but just enough for the trees to just sway and for me to do my meditation this morning, which I did for 1 hour. And where did I just put my book? Put it somewhere. I just worked with all your names, guys. So everybody who's in my book for a year, I worked through your names this morning because I love you all and I want you to be happy and well. Today's topic of conversation and self-help is about the many messages I receive daily on the subject of how did you find your path, Mark? And, you know, how did those miracles happen? How, you know, please explain to us the many stories that you talk about, how these occur, and, you know, what is your philosophy on life? And that subject is a beautifully profound subject to me, and I've talked about it in many workshops. So I think really, instead of me going through it all, maybe I'll tell you a few stories, or maybe just a couple of stories, then just to give you an idea of how they happened rather than me ABC. Okay, so there was a day once when I was with Gerardo, who is a very, very well-known shamanic healer in the world. He's on the board of council of shamanic people, and he goes all over. He's a really cool guy. Anyway, we'd worked alongside each other for a day in the mountains of Marbella. And it was very deep in the mountains. In fact, not Marbella, not that time. This time was Malaga, deep in the mountains of Malaga, where you could actually overlook Malaga. Anyway, after the afternoon of our work, we sat down on a beautiful terrace, very beautiful, overlooking these gardens, which were divine gardens with fruit trees. And I think I've told this story once before here, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so As per usual, it normally happened with him, not with me so much, because I don't know. Probably because I was married, but then so was he. Anyway, was he just getting divorced? I think he had just been divorced. That's right, he got divorced. So maybe that's what it was. So a lady had come up to him and basically poured out her undying love for him. And the first thing he said, I was sat there, it was like pretty embarrassing, really. And he said, well, before we even think about anything, what you need to do is run around those trees over there and keep running with your bare feet and don't stop till I say. So she did. And I was a bit taken aback by that, and I wasn't happy with it. I've got to admit, I thought that was really weird, and making somebody do something like that I didn't like. And I said, Gerardo, what was that about? And he said, well, before I could even contemplate even taking her out for a meal, she needs to get rid of the negativity that she holds. And I said, okay. And I said, well, why run around the garden? Is it because of Mother Nature pulling the energy, negativity? I said, no. He said, look at the trees. And I looked and I said, yeah, the lemon trees. He said, yeah. He said, lemons have an amazing energy of sucking up negative energy. And I thought about that. So I left that be, and I went, and for the next maybe a year, I started contemplating about lemons, and I started buying lemon trees. I bought 1 or 2 lemon trees, and then I thought to myself, well, is it a lemon tree that's doing it, or could it be the lemon? Could the lemon take negative energy? So I bought a load of lemons, and I started putting them around my academy and house all over. And the funny thing was, I started seeing the lemons where they were closest to me, or in a room where there was a lot of negative energy, they were turning black. They were going off colour and mouldy, and I thought, wow. So a living lemon tree doesn't do that. It absorbs it. But when you take the lemon off the tree, the lemon does the same thing, but there's nowhere for it to go. It can't go through the branches down into Mother Nature, so it just digests in that lemon. So one day I thought to myself, I want to share this with the world. I want to tell the world that there is a way you can see negative energy in a room. And I thought, how best to do that? And I thought, well, I need to start a YouTube video. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start. So I did a few practices, and I was really nervous, and I was trying to, speak to the camera. It wasn't very good, and I was making lots of mistakes, stopping and starting. No confidence. And I think I made a few to begin with, maybe 10, and I don't even know what I was even saying. I was just seeing if it was working. Till the day I was a little bit confident, I thought, okay, now I'm going to start. I feel a bit more confident in front of the camera, and I said, hi everybody, I want to introduce you to a lemon, and that was my first video that I truly put out there. And that video has now reached 1.5 million people. I don't think you may understand the feeling of joy that I have for that. Not because I've reached 1.5 million because of me, because I've reached 1.5 million who can take a lemon and now work with it, and from there they can watch my next video, which is how to cleanse the house. See? So if I'm helping somebody cleanse a house, it might mean that I'm helping one individual heal themselves from negativity that might have they might have thought was depression or whatever, or they may have felt bad and they've cleansed and done a sage in the house and they feel better, and they maybe haven't have taken their life, or they may not have shouted at their child. And to me, that's the pleasure behind that. So now I sit here in front of you, and the YouTube channel that we've created from that one lemon has now reached 90,000 people as subscribers. So how did it happen? Okay, well, I'll tell you in a minute. So I'll go on to another thing that happened, which was really beautiful as well, same as this. I remember being 13 years old, and because I had dyslexia, I was told, and dyspraxia, I'm an idiot and thick. But what I did have is a gift with my hands, and I used to love music and creativity. That was my gift. So some people in the world have a gift of using their memory very well, and if you've got a great memory, then you fit into a system. If you don't, then you're useless to the system. Get out. So I had to figure out myself what was my gifts, because they certainly weren't memorizing at school. So I used to like dancing. So I used to stand in front of a mirror with my hairbrush and sing, which I can't sing, but dance at the same time. And I went for John Travolta dancing lessons, Saturday Night Fever, and learnt my own dance moves all the time, practiced my dancing every day. And one day I found there was a disco when I was 13 or 12, and it was a kiddies disco. And I went to it and I started dancing in the centre of a dance floor, and all of a sudden I had this weird feeling. Everybody was surrounding me because I was doing lots of different moves, and it was kind of nice feeling, but it was really weird. But I enjoyed dancing, so when I'd finished, they used to come up to me and pat me on my back saying, wow, how do you do that? So I used to spend most of the bloody time teaching people how to do dancing. And as I got older, I got more into dancing and learnt the art of many different dance techniques, body popping, breaking, lots of all sorts. And one day, this guy knocked on my door, and he was a friend of a friend, and he said, you're a really good dancer. Would you like to practice a new dance? And I said, what's that? He said, it's called robotics. It's just coming out. And I said, yeah, let's give it a go. So from that moment on, we spent 5 years non-stop going to like Ford car companies where they were spraying the cars, and we were asking if we could go and watch the machines. So we were watching these robot machines doing this spraying, and we were watching every movement, and we were saying, how does that do that? And we were watching, and why does that move there? So we were watching all these movements, and we were practicing, and we practiced all night long. I am not kidding you guys, all night long. My dad was insane. He was crazy. He was really mad. My mum had passed, so I didn't mind so much. My dad was angry all the time, so it made a difference. So we were upstairs, and we had Mr. Polish spray and a cloth, and we were going around the room like all night spraying. So we were practicing. That's rubbish, by the way. I was really good. I perfected it really well when I was younger. Trust me, I was pretty good because I put hours into it. I practiced, and I loved it. I loved it. Every hour I put into it was like a dream for me, because I could watch myself in the mirror saying, wow, it's getting better and better. We're getting better and better. We're getting better and better. And next thing, I think my brother Ricky said, hey, there's a competition on at Huddersfield, Adiga, and it's called Search for a Star. And I said, what do you think, Andrew? He said, yeah, let's go for it. And I said, but we need something to wear. So we got these really cheap all-in-one suits, white suits, and we got a hat and some glasses, and we entered the competition and we won our heat. We became instant stars. And back then, it's like X Factor, same thing really. You know, it was a big thing. So we had an agent, and she was called Avril. She found us, and after the show, she saw us and said, I want to be your agent. And I said, we were like, oh, okay. And she says, the thing is, you're going to have to dance in all the clubs that I've got links with. And I said, that's great. And she said, they're all gay clubs. And I said, yes, I don't care anyway, just let me dance. And yeah, we were in all these, and the gay clubs back in the 80s were pretty awesome. The music were awesome, the live gigs were brilliant. It was just real fantastic time to be living, and we really enjoyed it. It was all high class. We were working then for lots of different famous people, and we were doing launches of cars. We were traveling all over. It was great. It was a good time for me and Andrew. We really had a good time. We became professional. We were in the stage newspaper, and we became professional at our job. So there was two other robots called Tick and Talk who were a bit more advanced than us. They got bigger breaks, but we were doing pretty well, you know. We were doing pretty well. I mean, one gig for me back then was like my dad's two wages. So it gives you an idea of how much money we were making. It was pretty good. I remember we were asked to go and perform separately. We were in this big nightclub and called Josephine's in Sheffield, and we were doing our stuff, but this time we'd got new costumes, we got flashy masks and flashy belts. Everything was flashing, and basically we would entertain the crowd. Okay. Anyway, this one night, a bouncer came and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "In the VIP room, please entertain and dance for VIP." So of course I'm going into the room, and I get into the room, and there's a woman sat down. Remember, I've got this mask which is very dark. You can't see through it, but I can only just see through everything, not properly, but it's okay because you can still see where you're going without banging into people. So I gets into the room, and there were two men who were obviously looking after this one lady. It was a lady over there. So I started doing my dancing. I performed for this lady, and I could hear a loud laugh, like, ha ha ha! And I carried on, and then I, for maybe 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, I don't know. And then I went over to her, and I took her hand, and I kissed her hand, and I looked close, and I realised it was Tina Turner. Wow. So I performed a little bit more, and I guess, guys, the moral of the stories that I've given you is that magic comes into our life when the whole purpose of what we're doing in our life is giving, is sharing something that you feel is profound, like the lemons, or when you really put your heart and soul into something and you do it from sheer love, from not a reason of I'm doing this to make money, or I'm doing this to become famous, I'm doing this for this. You do it because it's just a natural thing your heart knows and feels that you want to do. And I think a lot of us get trapped into the system where the system deliberately wants you not to follow your truth because you're not going to make enough money, or you can't afford your house or your rent, and it entraps you into a false illusion and world and life. And I think I was lucky enough not to have those fears because I was young at that time, and I didn't have the worry of, especially with dancing, that I had to pay for anything, but I didn't think of that anyway. So I think the moral of the story is, if you want to do something, then don't think about the consequences. Don't think about what could happen and could go wrong, because the more you think about something, the more you'll talk yourself out of it. And I think for me, the moral of this conversation is just to follow what feels right, and stop letting your mind tell you that, oh, you can't do that because there's so many reasons why you should be doing something else. I think you should just follow your truth, and that's it. And I hope some of this meant something to you. It was very lovely to share to 1.5 million about a lemon, and it was also very beautiful to be Tina Turner's private dancer that night. I guess I have a lot more stories to share, but those two just came to mind right now. And I hope today that they've helped you a little bit fulfill your path and your truth. And maybe, just maybe, there's something in this conversation that might be able to help you let go of your fears and of the system that tries to suppress us all. And just to say, God damn it, I'm going to try it and do it no matter what. I wish you all a beautiful day today, guys, from my heart to yours. Thank you once again for subscribing to my Bajerski YouTube channel, and thank you so much last night for buying your beautiful, pure, energy healing working crystals that I've worked on. You've chosen some beauties. I'm wrapping them today and will be sending them with love. Thank you so much, guys, for your support in everything that you do. From my heart to yours, you are amazing. You can do it. You're the best. There's nobody like you. So whatever you do, you are the only one to do it in the way you do. That's what makes you special. Live your life. The heart that gives is always full. Take care, guys. Bye.